Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts will take the world by storm.
There's some big right out there, and you're gonna help me stop it.
Us?
Why, you got someplace to be?
On May 2nd,
Avengers are gone. No one's coming to save the day.
their time
I think we could be the people that are coming.
has come.
Being the hero, there is no higher calling.
Let's do this.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts. Only in theaters May 2nd. Get tickets now. This film is not yet rated.
This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was getting frustrated by your forms. Now, Taxes is uploading your forms with a snap, and a TurboTax expert will do your taxes for you. One who's backed by the latest tech, which cross-checks millions of data points for absolute accuracy, all of which makes it easy for you to get the most money back, guaranteed. Get an expert now at TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
So good, so good, so good.
New markdowns up to 70% off are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Fresh kicks, spring tops, new dresses. There's always a score.
I mean, the denim section is unreal.
Why do I rack? All the dresses.
I always find something amazing.
Head to your Nordstrom Rack store to find can't-miss deals on all the spring things. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
Hey there, Duke fans, and welcome to episode number 719 of the Duke Basketball Roundup. We are a few days removed from our last episode of the 2024-25 season, but of course we are back because it is time to do the stats game. And I am Donald Wine. I am not going to be your host after I am finished talking right here. Jason Evans is also here. Jason will not be your host either. Hi, Jason.
Hey, Donald. By the way, really quick, congrats to the Florida Gators. Great comeback, really good game. What a completely bonkers final possession. Anticlimactic. I mean, like, the ball's just bouncing. No one's picking it up. Just crazy final possession. But I want to shout out Kelly Flagg, Cooper Flagg's mom. After Houston lost, Kelvin Sampson was talking about how much he feels for these guys, and I believe him. He does. And how special it was that they were all crying and stuff like that. And Kelly Flagg gave them all the smoke because there have been numerous reports of the way the Houston fan base was treating the Duke fan base in the wake of that loss. Donald, you were there.
Yeah, those aren't reports, Jason. That's what happened. They were giving that to all of us. And let me tell you, I got some of that work from Houston fans. They were mad quiet on Monday night, but this is not about them. So.
And Kelly Flagg let them know that she was not shedding any tears for them at all. It was awesome.
Shed tears, Jamal shed Houston tears. Okay, we're done with Houston right now. But
yeah,
we have the stats game, and as I mentioned, I am not going to be the host. Jason's not going to be the host. Our man Sam Klein is in the building. He is back. Welcome back, Sam. How you doing?
I would like to say it's nice to be here, but I find this now annual appearance at the end of the season more often than not to be an unhappy reason to be here because the season. Well, I guess.
Well, wait. Hold on. Wait. I would say if you were I know. Look, it still hurts. Believe me, we know it still hurts. We follow the team very closely. For those of you who are not aware, we're very emotionally invested in the success of Duke basketball. It hurts, but I think anyone who doesn't look back on this season and remember the joy and remember the fun we had and remember what a great, amazing team. If you focus on they lost to Houston and they had a really bad final couple minutes, you missed the boat on what this season was actually about.
Very well said. Something that I might have said in your place at some point in time. So I do genuinely feel the same way, but I was going to say that I would have probably been appearing right about this time, regardless of the outcome this weekend, because I would have come on to celebrate anyway. and we waited until after the national championship game to do this, which we did not get to do last year. So here we are doing the stats game recap. For the listeners who don't remember or who've just joined us, hi, I'm Sam. I do the stats game. I used to work here, and so what we did at the beginning of the season, we do this at the beginning of every season, is we pick a bunch of statistical categories for how Duke is going to perform this year, which players on the team are going to lead in certain categories, how much guys on the team are going to achieve, other stuff from around the country, and we make a little guessing game out of it, and the winner gets an awesome trophy that Donald currently has. It's on his desk. He's showing it. We can put a picture of it up on the thread about this episode and anywhere else that you follow the Duke Basketball Roundup, which is the name of the show.
I will take a picture of it and post it only if I get to retain it. If Jason gets to, this is what happens when you're the keeper of the Blue Sky account at Duke Roundup on Blue Sky and on Twitter. No, I will post a picture of it. I think I've done it before, but I still need to get it updated, and this will be a good time to do so.
All right. As we go through this, I've already tabulated the scores. I am going to have to clarify a couple of topics with you guys where I think that the rules are sort of boundary, and I want to get our collective answer on where we think they should land, but I don't think it's going to be too contentious. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Wonderful. Can't wait. All right. There won't be a lot of drama in revealing who the answers were for the first 5 categories, because the first 5 categories were who's going to lead Duke in each of the following: points, rebounds, blocks, assists, and steals. Guess what? Cooper Flagg led the team in all 5 categories this year.
Wait, can I really quick? How ridiculous would it have sounded if one of us had picked Cooper Flagg to lead the team in all 5 of those? We would have been mocking that person. We would have been openly mocking them on the episode.
We did successfully name Cooper Flagg in all 5 categories.
But not the same person.
To sum it up, that's right. Donald had him in 3, I had him in 2, and Jason had him in 1. So,
oh my God, I only had him in 1. What was
Jason,
I thinking?
Jason, do you know which category you picked Cooper Flagg to win?
I don't know.
It's not that one.
It's not blocks.
It's steals.
Steals? Hey,
you only picked Cooper Flagg to lead the team in steals. You did not pick Cooper Flagg to lead the team in points, rebounds, or blocks. All of which I think would have been way more reasonable.
I was gonna say the points one I remember would be like Jason, I feel like you're overthinking this. It's going to be Cooper Flagg. It's literally built to be Cooper Flagg.
Wait,
and Jason did
like Caleb Foster or something absurd like that.
You did pick Conkinipple, who did come in second.
Hey, that's not bad. Hang on. That's not bad. Oh my God.
I don't think any of us made any terrible picks. So let's just leave that and say we all get between 1 and 3 points depending on our specific performance. But yeah, Cooper Flagg, just for those who needed the roundup here one more time, 19.2 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists. He almost averaged a 10.55, and then added, just for good measure, 1.4 blocks and 1.4 steals per game. Kaman Malowacz did have one more total block than Cooper did during the season, but of course Cooper missed the 2 games during the ACC tournament, so his blocks per game average was slightly higher than Malawacz's. So he takes all 5 categories, a dominating performance. I was very curious towards the end of the season who was going to come out in the lead between Flagg and Malowacz, because that was the only category that was remotely close. So let's move on to the next.
That was one where, unlike, like total minutes or something like that, that was a per game.
That's just per game
statistic. Yeah,
that's right.
Wait, you haven't told us who got points and all. So you and Donald got points in points.
Yes, and then I got the point for rebounds. Donald got for blocks and assists, and Jason got for steals. So there's your outcome. Okay, we come to a one of our question marks. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm not gonna tell you who picked what, and we're gonna decide how we want to adjudicate this. So The next category is highest field goal percentage. This is not 2-point field goal percentage. This is all field goal percentage.
Okay.
Now, at the end of the season, Patrick Gongba ended up leading the team in field goal percentage at 71.9. Kaman Malawach was just behind him at 71.2. Gongba only attempted 64 field goals this season, less than 2 per game. So the question is, would we count, I'm not going to tell you who picked who, would we count Patrick Gongba's performance as being leading the team in field goal percentage, or should we knock down to Kaman Malawach as winning? And I will tell you that at least one of us had Kaman Malawach leading the team, so this does affect the final score. Donald, your thoughts?
I think I thought we said that, or no, I'm sorry. For 3-point percentage, we always said it was half attempt per game. I thought for field goals, it was 1 attempt per game on average.
In which case he'd be well over. Jason, do you concur?
So we would then award 0 points to anybody. I feel like, I feel like there should be a bit of a threshold. Maybe 1 is enough of a threshold. I don't know. And I feel like whoever picked Malawach.
And I think I know who picked Malawach.
You do?
I think.
Who do you think picked Malawach? This is an important part of the game theory.
I don't remember if I picked Malawach or not.
I picked Malik Brown. I remember that because I picked exactly 69.8%, which is what he averaged his first 2 years. And I remember distinctly saying that. And I think you picked Malawach.
So I don't remember. I feel like Big Pat did not play enough, but
to have a field goal percentage?
No. To be deemed the winner in this category. There were numerous games that he did not play at all. And a pretty fair percentage of his statistical accumulation came at mop-up time. Yeah, late in the season he started playing more and more. But a lot of what he accumulated, I think, was...
Well, look, Jason, mop-up time is one of the most important inputs to one of our favorite categories that we're coming to later, which is walk-on points.
I agree. But when we were considering that, I don't know. I could go either way.
I think by the standard we have set in the past, Donald is right. So I'm gonna adjudicate in favor of Donald's argument. So Patrick Gongba leads the team in field goal percentage. None of us is getting a point because Jason and I both picked Kaman Malawach and Donald picked Malik Brown. So there you have it. All right.
What did Malik Brown end up at? His was hot.
Malik Brown ended up at 65.9.
And Malawach, you said, was like 71?
71.9. It's Malawach 71.2 and Gongba 71.9.
I was really hoping Malik would get 69.8 again.
Those are all
still
really high
the
numbers.
team.
I'm impressed.
All right. We're going to come to a category that none of us won or got close to, which is highest 3-point field goal percentage.
It was Isaiah Evans, right?
Yeah, Isaiah Evans led the team at 41.6, unless you want to count Spencer Hubbard, but on 5 attempts. So
no, it's not enough.
No, we said half. We said half.
He hit threes at a 60% clip this year. It's a pretty good season for Spen Hub.
Yeah.
So Donald had picked Darren Harris. Jason and I both picked Con Knipple. We were both wrong. Everyone was wrong. No points awarded.
Ooh, Darren Harris.
Players...
Wait.
That's not an unfair
pick
because remember, it's just half an attempt per game. That's 30 attempts.
I mean, he could have played more.
Yeah.
It was possible at the beginning of the season that he was going to play more. Don't worry, we're getting to a Caleb Foster topic where this will come back to haunt us.
Yeah, it's going to blow up in my face. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. How many players will lead Duke in scoring in a game this year? The winner was Donald. He picked 5. The answer was 5. I had 6. Jason had 4.
I think my 4 was a great pick. My 4 was a great pick. I didn't count on Isaiah Evans. That was the problem.
I think Evans only did it once. So
did it one time. Yeah.
You were that close, but Donald's going to take that. Cooper Flagg, Tyrese Proctor, Con Knipple, Isaiah Evans, and Kaman Malawach all led the team in scoring at least once. I did double check especially because I was particularly invested in trying to find, an instance where Caleb Foster accidentally tied or something and it didn't show up on the ESPN list. So I double checked this one. How many unique starting lineups did Duke throw out there this season? It turns out only 3. Duke had, other than John Shire demoting Caleb Foster to the bench in favor of Sion James, and then the 2 games that Cooper Flagg was out, there was no, at least starting lineup movement by John Shire this season. An interesting wrinkle this year, although there were a lot of changes to the overall lineup construction. The starting lineup was pretty consistent.
Remind me, because there was one game where Tyrese Proctor was out. That was the same lineup that still had Slim starting, and all 3 of those games either Tyrese or Cooper were out.
Yeah. So very consistent this year by John Shire. So only 3 lineups. Jason takes this one. He had 4. Donald and I both had 5. So
awesome.
Not a particularly interesting one.
I'll take the point.
Let's talk. That's right. Let's talk about Cooper Flagg's double-doubles. He had 7 of them. I said he was going to have 12. I was wrong. Jason said he was going to have 4. He was the closest. Donald had 3. It's interesting that Donald gave Cooper the lowest number of double-doubles, even though he picked Cooper in the most categories to lead the team this season. But these are the vagaries of playing the stats game. So
it is really hard to get a double-double. It is not.
It turns out that in college basketball, it's very hard to get a double-double.
I will tell you right now, I will be picking a double-digit number for Cameron Boozer next year.
For Cameron Boozer double-doubles?
Oh, yeah. It's a double-digit number.
A double-digit double-double.
Yes, double-digit double-double.
All right. I look forward to that in 6 months from now, 5 months from now, when we reconvene on this topic.
Yes.
All right. Tyrese Proctor, 3-point field goals made per game.
I crushed this. This one. I said it when I picked it. I won this.
Jason nailed it. 2.3.
I knew it.
He got it right on the money. So here's the interesting thing. He made 1.3 3-point field goals per game his freshman season. He made 1.8 his sophomore season. He made 2.3 his junior season. If Tyrese Proctor is back in a Duke uniform next year, Jason, are you committed to saying that Tyrese Proctor will make 2.8 3-point field goals again?
Yeah, sure.
I think you have to commit to this right now.
I'm here. I'm on the record. 2.8.
You're running it back.
Yep.
Sam, what did you and I pick for this? Because I didn't think it was that far off.
It wasn't that far off. Donald had 1.8, which is matching his number from last year, and I had 2.0. So everyone was in the right ballpark. I mean, we had 2 years of data on this. I didn't think we thought that Tyrese's contribution to this team was going to be so different than it had been in years past. So continuing to creep up. I don't know where he's sitting on draft boards today, so I don't know what the likelihood is that he's returning, but there's certainly a chance that he's back on the team next year and taking and hopefully making a lot of 3-point field goals. All right, let's move on. Maybe my worst performance of the season here. Caleb Foster leads the team in scoring.
Oh my God.
How many times?
Oh my God.
Donald wins because he picked 2, which is the lowest number of all of us. Jason had 6 and I had 7. So
wow.
Of all of the offseason decisions that various members of the 24-25 Duke basketball team have to make, is Caleb Foster's the most interesting? I'm not sure. He had quite a roller coaster this year. Starting lineup, on the bench, basically in the doghouse, and then by the end of the season, back playing not a starting lineup role, but an important role for John Shire down the stretch. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him.
I'm glad I got the point, but I wish that number was higher, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I will say, Sam,
big zero.
We got a whole ton of emails from people saying, why didn't Caleb Foster play more in that Final Four game? If you'd told me like 3 weeks ago that we were getting emails about that, I would have been like, what the hell is going on?
I know I haven't been around so much to describe this, but I know I shared my conspiracy theory with you guys, a month or 2 ago about John Shire just feeling the need to doghouse somebody just to assert dominance. I still don't actually believe that. It's a funny notion, but I feel like the Caleb Foster saga this season could have been its own book, if you will. All right, let's move on. I've got a couple more categories, and then I know we need to take breaks on this show so that the sponsors can get their time. Con Kneppel 3-point field goal percentage, redemption for me. You guys overshot like crazy. Jason thought that Concanepo was going to make 44.2% of his 3-point field goal attempts. That's nuts. Donald was right behind him, 43.3. I had 41.2. We all went over, but I just went over the least. So still an absolutely stellar season for Concanepo, a great shooter, and someone we're going to miss dearly when he's playing on whatever lottery pick team is taking him in a couple months.
What was his numbers, like 40.5 or something like that? Right,
something like that. Yeah, I don't have it written down, but I'm sure I can look it up, or you, the listener, can look it up while you're driving. So
he was north of 40%. That's pretty great.
It was pretty amazing for a freshman, and a guy who wasn't expected to be the best freshman on the team and didn't turn out to be the best freshman on the team, but still had a pretty damn good year. Absolutely. Thoughts on Concanepo before I move on?
Hell of a year. Miss him. Actually, my biggest thought on Concanepo, we all thought he was going to be a 3-point shooter, and he was so much more than that.
So much more. He was all three levels on offense and one of the team's best defenders.
Way better defense than anyone thought.
Yeah. Amazing. Like, how did that happen? I haven't been on to say, and I can take a quick detour from the game to just say, I don't need to do like a full season wrap for you guys. You've done it plenty, and you're going to continue to do so. I have shared in the last couple of years as Duke announced that Jon Scheyer was going to be the head coach and the transition from Coach K and everything, about my, call it skepticism if you want to paint with a broad brush, about Jon Scheyer's selection and what kind of a coach he was going to be.
You thought that we should not be staying in-house necessarily.
Or at least that there should be more of a consideration that didn't just feel like the Coach K anointing the successor, which is at least from the outside what it felt like. And I don't know that we have reason to believe that it was anything other than that, even with hindsight. I'll stand here today and say I think Jon Scheyer was the right pick. I think that he demonstrated this season an incredible aptitude for, not just taking the best from Coach K, but also learning and adapting from everything Coach K taught him. And that there were a number of coaching decisions that Jon Scheyer made this year that won Duke more games than they would have won if Mike Krzyzewski had been the coach of this team.
You know what? It turns out that Coach K may have known what he was doing when he picked his successor.
Isn't that amazing?
Who'd have thunk it? Dude apparently knows a little bit about basketball.
And say what you will about the end game execution and the stuff with Caleb Foster and whatever. Nobody's perfect, but Jon Scheyer did a hell of a job this year, and all the stuff that's been written about him in the last couple of weeks and everything we know about the team coming back next year and the guys who are coming in. I don't know how you could think anything other than Duke seems to be in really good hands with this coaching staff. And there are still, changes to be made. John still has to finish filling out his staff for next year. Who knows if other guys will get poached during this period now. But I'm on board. I think that Duke is in as good a position as any program going forward with its coaching. Let me do one more category before we take a break. It's another one that I'm proud of. Isaiah Evans, minutes per game. I had him at 12. You guys had 7 and 8. He surpassed all of those expectations. He ended up at the end of the season being one of the most important subs. Not a starter, but a significant player for Duke. So I'm thrilled with the progress that he made this year. I know that more times than I can count, I said during the last month he's Grayson Allen, but a month ahead of schedule for what Grayson did at the end of his freshman season. And I don't know if Isaiah Evans is coming back next year, if he's going to test the waters and see what happens. But man, what a big impact he made, even if sometimes he came into the game and his shots didn't all fall.
Still contend that we had a lot of great moments this year, but one of the favorites was his breakout against Auburn. When we found out that Showtime Slim had arrived on campus and he was the greatest, at times the greatest show on court, on hardwood, that was a lot of fun.
Easy to root for, that guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Gentlemen, one of you want to introduce the break before we come back and wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, you heard Sam. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to pause. We'll be right back after word from these sponsors. Stick around. All right, we are back and we continue the stats game. I have not done the count to this point. You can pause and go back and do that right now, but Sam has the official number and we have a few more categories we got to get through. So, Sam, back to you.
We do. Let's keep going. Our next category, how many games is Malik Brown going to start in? Donald and Jason both took the point in this. It was 0, but they guessed 2, and I guessed 3. Again, similar to Isaiah Evans. Not a ton of starts, but an enormous impact on this team. And I wouldn't be surprised if down the road, you hear quotes from 10-year veteran, NBA veteran Patrick Gongba saying, I wouldn't have made it this far if Malik Brown hadn't taught me everything I learned in practice during our 1 season together at Duke or 2 seasons together at Duke, whatever it ends up being.
I think we said this when we did the ACC end of season awards. He was the only guy that got votes. One of 2 guys that got votes for 6th man of the year that actually did not start a single game. The other one was, he was the only one because I think Isaiah Evans got a couple of votes as well, and he started a couple games. So he literally was the only one on that list who was a true 6th man. So he should have won the award.
Wait. How did Duke have 2 6th men? One of them has to be 7th.
Clearly, the ACC media doesn't do math like you do, Jason.
Right.
So I don't know what to tell you.
I got a point. Okay. That's all I care.
Next category, another strong performance by, let's see, this one was Jason. Jason nailed this one. How many total 3-point field goals is Kaman Malawach going to attempt this year?
I nailed it. Did I get it?
Nailed it. 16.
Oh wow.
I didn't think that there was anything to this. I said 9. I thought this was just a fun category, and Donald had 21. So Jason, right on the money. And on average, we did pretty good. Minutes per game for Sion James. I nearly nailed this one. The real number was 25.5. The number I guessed was 24.6. I was the only one on the program who knew that Sion James was going to play as big a role as he did. I guess I didn't realize he was going to start for most of the season, but each of you were under 20. So I'm taking the point for this one.
Man, you projected him for 25 minutes a game and you didn't think he would start? Wow.
Well, I didn't know he was going to start at the beginning of the season. Caleb Foster was playing, but I thought all the experience, Shire's talking him up a big, like of all the transfers, I thought he was going to play a bigger role than Malik Brown was. And that he was probably, if we were putting anyone on the bench as a starter, if we were going to replace any of the starters, I thought that James was best positioned to take one of those spots. So maybe in a way I sort of did. I don't know that I need to give myself too much credit for it, but wow, what a great season from Sion James, and what an awesome dude he turned out to be. So exactly. John Shire really knows how to do the DNA sampling when it comes to selecting transfers.
I love it.
Big time. All right, next category. We're done with the player specific categories. I didn't have one for Darren Harris. I didn't have one for Spencer Hubbard or any of the other guys. So we're gonna move on. 100-point games. Donald, my friend, you did have to split this category with Jason, but this was the year, Donald, when you should have gone big, because you guys each guessed 3, I guessed 2, and the real number was 5, including one game in the Sweet 16 when Duke scored 100 points. This was
I didn't expect that. This
was an absolute banner year for 100-point games. And I mean, what a revelation. I don't know what else to say, but Donald, you're the maven of this category. So any comments?
10.
Next year. I don't know that we're getting this performance again next year.
I'm not doing 10 next year.
This was the most efficient offense in Ken Pom history. At least they were coming. I haven't checked. I think they still were.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the only thing that kept the number from being 10 was that Duke didn't play enough at a fast enough pace because we were too good on defense.
I was going to say we had a ton of games. It feels like maybe 3 or 4 games this year where we had 80 points with 85 points with like 5 minutes left, and we didn't get to 100 because we called off the dog, so to speak. But this team was scoring some points, man. It was a lot of fun to watch.
They did make it look easy on offense this year, except for a couple stretches against Houston, maybe right at the end of the game, or whatever. We don't have to relitigate this.
Too soon.
Correct.
Too soon, Sam.
All right. Total points by the walk-ons. Donald, you're taking this category.
Oh, this is a huge number, isn't it?
It's a big number. The number this year was 25.
Wow.
Last year there were 6. Donald had 14. You didn't even really get close.
I know.
We didn't know that Spencer Hubbard was gonna come back from off-season workouts and just be a real contributor.
Spencer's per 40-minute numbers were like outrageous. He was an All-American.
It was 7th in the ACC.
Yeah.
He didn't quite crack the Ken Pom limit for like showing up on the roster as being a player. But I think he came pretty close. Like Darren Harris made it onto the Ken Pom calls it the bench warmer list.
Mm-hmm.
But Spencer Hubbard wasn't too far behind him. Is he out of eligibility? Do we have to say goodbye to him now?
Yeah,
I think we do.
Yeah,
I think we do, unfortunately.
Man, that is a bummer. What a career for Spencer Hubbard, especially in his final season. That was amazing. 13 points he scored this season. Neil Begovic chipped in 7, and Cam Sheffield had 5 of his own. So great showing by the walk-ons or the guys.
Spencer Hubbard had a step back 3 at one point. Just like
he did. It was awesome
against Illinois. Yeah,
like that. Maybe
it was awesome. I was there.
Top 10 plays of the year.
Yeah, it was sick. I went nuts. All right, players who log over 300 minutes. Donald and Jason are both getting a point for this one. They both guessed 9. I had 8. Patrick Gongba just barely snuck over this.
We probably had. Do we have 10? It was 10 then.
It was 10. 10 was the number.
But
you guys both guessed 9, so you get it. Darren Harris didn't even get close to this, so so 10 was the right number. Duke's rating on the defensive end at Ken Pom on the day of the selection show. This was contentious. The number was 4. I guessed 6. Each of you guessed 3, so you're both getting points for that.
Oh, wow.
Love it.
Pretty impressive work. I didn't realize that John Shire was coaching up a defensive juggernaut this year. I thought they were going to be good, but I didn't know they were going to be as good as they were.
Well, I think we all did, right? I mean, the lowest number you said was you guessed 6?
6.
Last year we were what? Like 19? Like so
yeah.
I mean, this was us saying that they were going to take a big step up and really sell themselves out defensively. What we didn't realize was that still our offense was going to be better than our defense. Because at times for most of the season, it felt like our defense was very much outpacing our offense.
I think that we were all thinking that the Cooper Flagg Common Malawach block party would be the story of this year's defense. And though those guys were great at protecting the rim and causing teams to take difficult shots, we didn't realize how effective Sion James and Malik Brown and other guys like that would be on defense at just disrupting everything out there.
Really, really just incredible work at the defensive end. And again, something that I'm not sure I was prepared to pre-anoint John Shire in terms of his ability to craft this defense. But man, whether it's him or the assistants, ultimately, it's his responsibility to put the game plan together. Masterful work and a lot of defense. I think, not being experts here, I think there was a lot that John Shire threw at other teams on defense that, again, I'm not sure Coach K would have wanted to experiment with. So big hat tip to him in this category. Road wins. Duke had 10 of them this year.
That's pretty strong number. That's a really great number.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
One actual road loss this year for Duke. That was the game at Clemson. The other 2 during the regular season were neutral court losses. So Jason takes this one. He had the biggest number. He had 9. I thought Duke was going to struggle a little more in this category. ACC teams who made the NCAA tournament.
Well, pour one out, gentlemen. I was like ACC. 7 or 8, wasn't I?
Yeah. Donald had 5. He was the closest. So, man, not the best year for the conference. But as you guys know, I don't root for the SEC, the rest of the ACC. So fine by me. I didn't get the point, but maybe the rest of the ACC should step up and try a little harder.
I will say on that note, it was quite funny to me in a way that after us losing to Houston, the main story was mainly the ACC did not prepare Duke enough for the NCAA tournament, which is funny because we got to the Final Four anyway, right? We did not beat an ACC team to get there, but the fact that everyone was basically like, yo, y'all see Duke over here? ACC, where y'all at? Step up. ACC, step up. That's the moral of the story.
and there's all this talk about SEC solidarity, and other SEC schools were rooting for Florida in the title game, and whoever won the Florida Auburn game, the SEC was going to be rooting for them. I don't feel any of that feeling. I don't know what it's like to be one of these SEC fans rooting for other schools. That makes me vomit.
I still remember 2004. I still remember Georgia Tech winning the first game and Duke fans congratulating them, and then they turned right around and booed us for the whole game. And I said, nope, I know it now. Yeah,
we're done here.
Mm-hmm.
We're done here. No love lost. Let's talk about 10-5-5 games. I didn't actually count the overall number. I'm just going to tell you.
I bet Cooper broke this all. Cooper exceeded all of our numbers all on his own, didn't he?
You are exactly right, which is why I stopped the count. I stopped the steal. Sorry, I stopped the count. Cooper Flagg had 13 on his own. Jason had the biggest number with 9. So I don't even know how many Knipple and Malawach and Proctor had. Sion James
Proctor, I know, had a couple.
Sion James had 1 or 2. And Knipple had several.
Con had a bunch. Yeah.
So
I bet the numbers I bet the number is close to 20.
I may go back and find the whole number. It is sort of annoying to count, but yeah, pretty good. I had noted a few weeks ago, I had gone in and done a preliminary look at these at the stats game after the second Wake Forest game, which was the second to last game of the regular season for Duke. Cooper Flagg already had 9 of these. So Jason, you locked up this category a month ago.
Yeah, I approve.
Good work. All right. Total wins for Duke this season. The real number was 35. You guys both had 36. So good job. Sorry that Duke didn't quite beat your expectations, but you're both taking home this category. I had 31. I thought Duke was going to struggle more earlier in the season. I thought the ACC might have been a little better, and I was wrong. And I'm fine with that. Amazing that John Shire just had a 35-win season, and everyone's like, "Oh, why didn't they do better?" That's
pretty ridiculous.
That's some really elite stuff. So here's what's interesting. At the end of all that, I don't know if you were counting along. Jason and Donald ended up tied.
Really?
12 points a game. But
wait. I thought we did.
But
we did your appearances. That was another category.
But
yeah,
there was one bonus category that I did not count yet.
The
tiebreaker came into play this year.
Come on.
Oh man, did I lose?
How many shows is Sam going to appear in this season?
I know I picked a big number, and I know that throughout the year I tried to encourage Sam to come on a couple times.
Yeah, he kept trying to encourage Sam. Yeah.
And you know what, Jason? Your hard work is going to pay off.
Yes, baby.
You are the Stats Game champion 2025
by tiebreaker. I don't want to have to put this thing in the
hold
mail.
on. What was the number I picked, and how many did you appear on?
It was 5. I know that I did more than that. I don't remember what the exact number is. Yeah,
you did at least.
So
in fact, hang on. I feel like you did one when Jason was out on vacation. So does that even count?
It's still an appearance.
It's still an appearance.
I did. Well, let's see. I made it to 4 Duke games this season. 3 Duke games. I went to the Boston College game. I went to the Illinois game. I went to the Alabama game in Newark. That was awesome. And I go to another one? No, I think that was it. But I went to 3 games, and I had to show up from time to time just to say hi and make sure everyone was doing okay. So congratulations to Jason. Really just wonderful performance. I look forward to beating you next year, even though I came in a distant last place this year. So clearly I'm fading as an analyst. Which
my last image of me with my baby.
That's right.
We'll be reunited soon.
It doesn't. It's not a cup,
figure out how to get
Jason
this in the mail.
Drink out of it, unfortunately. So, that's true. Gentlemen, any closing thoughts on the stats game before we wrap this up?
I think that we woefully underestimated the impact of Cooper Flagg. I'm not sure I deserve to win, considering I was so wrong. Really? The only thing I said he'd lead the team in was steals? What the?
I was reading it
absurd
yesterday
that I won after doing that.
I'm hearing Jason wants to be instantly disqualified.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, a really poor performance for you at the start, but you made the comeback. You made it. You scored where it counted. So that was
Thank
that.
you. Thank you very much. It was the road wins that did it for me.
That's right. That's right. Putting you over and knowing that you were
The
going to be able to
10-5-5.
goad me back in here. I might have to change the bonus category next year to make it less
Manipulative,
less influential.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you could pick a number and then because we'll let you on anytime you want to be on.
That's
so you
right.
Could,
Well,
yeah, we need a different tiebreaker category.
Well, the one last year was when he would turn his AC on, which was very much like.
Oh, you're right. That was totally unfair.
That I took, and I absolutely manipulated that.
Yeah. Yeah, he saw our dates and he was like, "Gotta make it, gotta make it."
It was
December.
It was cold
15th.
in that apartment. I should have done it this year. I barely had to turn the heat on. I told you I moved to a new apartment where I'm even higher up and get even more sunlight. So it's hot all the time in here. I'm about to move out of it now. So thank God, because I'm not going to be here in the summertime because it gets super hot. I don't know if you know this. In the summer, Boston gets so much sunlight, it's crazy because we're so high. We're so far north.
Yeah, you get you're like Michigan. You're a little bit higher north than Michigan, but like Michigan,
yeah,
sunsets at like 10:15 some nights.
Well, what's annoying here is that we're on the far eastern end of the time zone. So in the summertime, the sun rises at like 5 o'clock. That's weird. I really can't stand it. It's that's like one of the worst things about living here. So I'll say no more on that topic.
Yeah, well, congratulations to Jason. Jason, I'm going to figure out how to put this in a box and send it to you so that you can have the trophy for 1 year. Sam, as always, it's great to see you. Thanks for coming back and doing this. Of course, we're going to do this again next year, but that doesn't mean that you have to wait 5 months to come back. So,
of course.
We look forward to having you back. And for those of you out there, continue to listen. We got stuff coming up in the off season. We're going to try and, maybe go through some topics that we didn't get a chance to during the season. We obviously are going to have news kind of trickling out about where all these players end up going, whether they declare for the draft, whether they decide to stay, whether they decide to explore other pastures, whether we decide to get some guys out of the transfer portal. All of that news will be coming. And whenever it does, Jason and I will be back to react to it. But until then, I think that's enough on this episode. We're just a little bit over an hour. I think that's good enough on the DBR podcast, episode number 719.
We're not, Donald, we're not over an hour. Remember, Sam was late. We're only at about.
Hey, whoa.
I wasn't going to put his business in the street. He was doing important stuff. So
I'm not. I'm just saying we didn't start recording at the time you thought we started recording.
I see a number and I'm just pointing at the number. You even see me point when I do it. Sam was here the whole time.
Don't care.
Yeah, listeners don't care about this stuff. Let's just go home. He's Jason. He's Sam. I'm Donald. It's now time for the Duke band to play us out and take us home.
See ya.
So I've gotten pretty good engagement. Like more than 10,000 people have read the tweet that I put out where I said anyone who tells you they have a good idea who's going to play for Duke next year is probably guessing or lying.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, look, Shire I did it yesterday, the Tuesday, the 8th. I was like, look, Shire hasn't even had conversations with these guys yet. He's got to talk to them. They usually have multiple, by the way, they have multiple conversations. Like, here's what I think you need to work on. Here's what I think your role is going to be. Talk to your parents and see what makes sense for you. All that other kind of stuff.
They haven't even done the banquet yet.
What's that?
They haven't even done the banquet yet.
Yeah, exactly. All that stuff comes before guys even decide for certain about the portal or the draft and all this other kind of stuff. You got all these people out here who are like, oh, wait, I know what's going to happen. I'm like, no, you don't. John Shire doesn't even know what's going to happen at this point. Come on.
Half these players don't.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone's like, oh, I know. I'm like, no, it's April 9th. Maybe April 12th or 13th, you'll know at the earliest.
Yeah.